Hi, everyone. Welcome back. My name is Nico and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a white man with parted blonde hair, a black headset, and large blue and brown spectacles. I'm wearing a purple dress shirt. I'm seated against a tan background. And like about 20% of the global population, I'm disabled. Non-disabled people might see our lives as tragic, flawed, pitiful, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time now, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. The disability community has as many members as it has opinions, which is why I've asked my friend Anessa here with me today to talk about disabled joy. Hi, Anessa. Thank you for joining me.
Nico, thank you so much for having me. This is exciting.
Of course. Can you share a joyful memory with me? It could have to do with your disability or your diagnostic process, or it could be totally separate. Either is valid.
I have lots of joyful memories, thankfully. I like to divide it up, I guess, before diagnosis and then after diagnosis. Let's say before was meeting my husband and then the birth of my two children, absolute pure joy. And then afterwards, honestly, was one getting diagnosed because it was a diagnostic odyssey for me. It was many years of all of these random symptoms that eventually led to diagnosis of Addison's disease, which is a rare autoimmune disease. And getting diagnosed, I was so thankful to finally have a name for all of these symptoms that I had had for so years, but it also changed the complete trajectory of my life. And then now finding joy in my new professional life through my diagnosis, but being a disability advocate. So yeah, lots of joy in between there.
Fantastic. That's really great. Thank you so much. How has your disability intersected and impacted how you pursue joy or to pursue your own happiness?
It intersects everything. That's the quick
Yeah.
answer. No. When you live with something rare, you are oftentimes the most knowledgeable person when it comes to your, the way in which you live. And you are oftentimes even around medical professionals because when it is rare, a lot of information is not known about it. So you have to be your own advocate. But when you are doing this and you're living, basically I take medicine to live. So that is something that I have to keep in the back of my mind. If I want to do something that's not in my normal day-to-day routine, I have to remember that and just keep that. I joke, I live by the clock. So when I take my medicine, I have to constantly look and see what that looks like. But for me, I always say my disability is a part of who I am. That's not who I am. And so my joy, I come from just living my life with that understanding and the interactions that I have through that, but also understanding that you can have a joyful life and just go through that in the opportunity to share more and to share that joy truly.
Absolutely. As a rare patient myself, I really relate to a lot of what you said, especially having to educate your doctors and
Yes.
be your own advocate and then also your own expert. Fantastic. Thank you. So it sounds like you've been living with disability for a long time, which makes this next question very difficult. What one thing do you want the rest of the world to know about disabled life and disabled quality of life?
We're not defined by it. I think that's the biggest thing is that it, like I mentioned, it's a part of who I am, but it's not who I am. And yes, it has definitely shaped me and it shaped the, like I mentioned, the professional development and the launch of AllAbility Recruiting. That company would not be here if it weren't for my diagnosis over 10 years ago. But I think there's so much more that when you see me, I want you to see someone who is a wife and a mom and leads a small business, but also happens to have a disability, and I think that is so important. And I think when we, especially for our candidates that we try to place in job opportunities, they want to be seen for the qualities that they bring to the table, not for the disability. They want to be seen as them.
Sure. That's really great. Fantastic. Thank you. It sounds like you have a strong sense of self, and I really salute that. That's really great. Of course. My last planned question is one that I ask all of my interviewees, regardless of project. Is there a recent win that you're celebrating that you want to name so that we can celebrate along with you? Or if not, what cool things are you doing? Where can people find you online? This is your chance to really brag and promote yourself. So go all out, be your own cheerleader.
Okay, I can do that. Our latest win, I think, is just the celebration of 2 years with AllAbility Recruiting. So we are a disability recruitment firm. And as I mentioned, it really was birthed out of my disability and seeing that there were so many people out there, such as myself, who had gaps in their resumes. And I had gaps in my resumes for several reasons. One, I was a stay-at-home mom with every intention of going back to work full time. And then that's when my health decided to take a sideways turn. So my gap was a lot longer than most, and finding it very difficult to get back in to the workforce, and seeing there were so many other people out there like me who had been sick, who had had a new diagnosis, who had been in treatment, and they were viewed as less than because they had gaps due to their disability. And so that's why we launched, one of the many reasons we launched AllAbility Recruiting is to speak to that and say they're still worthy. They still need to have the opportunity to be seen for them and not their disability. So yeah, 2 years, just celebrated that yesterday. So we've been very excited about that. And, for just personally, just for me, it thrills me to no end when people get placed in their positions and they're able to contribute to their family and work, and probably not something they have been feeling valued for a while. And so being able to say, yes, here I am, I'm offering value to my teammates and to my company and my business, as well as my family. It just thrills me to no end. And then to the second part of your thing, I think it's just being online. I am really active on LinkedIn, which is, I know where you found me, Nico, and really just speaking to that disability employment piece and just being an advocate for those out there that haven't always thought that they had a voice. So I definitely love to do that. And then just allabilityrecruiting.com. That's where you can find us.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that service you do for our community.
Thank you.
Of course. Audience, tune in next time. And remember, I'm rooting for you.